Sagittarius, and welcome to your reading for February the 3rd through the 9th. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Sagittarius for February the 3rd through to February the 9th? Three cards for Sagittarius, please. Two more cards for Sagittarius. Oh, that's 10 more cards. Oh, there's one. So one more card. Oh, there's definite crossover here, guys. Check out your sun, moon, and rising. Make sure that there's only two there. Yes. One more card for Sagittarius, please. One more card for Sagittarius. What wonderful gifts, guidance. Oh, there it is. Oh, yes. That definite. Check out your sun, moon, and rising. Lovely. Now, here are your clarifying cards for Sagittarius. There we go. These are clarifying cards for Sagittarius. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, helpful information can you give Sagittarius through these clarifying cards? One more. Dear God's guardians, blessings, and what wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Sagittarius through these clarifying cards? Please clarify. Oh, interesting. And please clarify the. Oops. There it is. And please clarify the non. Okay. There it is. Alrighty then. Okay, let's take a look at your cards, Sagittarius. Here we go. Okay. The first card out for you is the Karma. It's the same as really the Justice card. It's like Pluto, right? Clarified by the Four of Pentacles, Wands. Then you have the Five of Swords, which is shown up in a lot of readings. And clarified by the Tower. And you have the Nine of Swords, which is shown up in a couple of readings, and the Page of Cups. Okay, Sagittarius, darling. Okay, so the first card out for you is Karma. And this is the Judgment card. It's like Pluto, right? This is secrets and truths being revealed. So you're going to find out something about someone or possibly yourself. This is like things coming from the unconscious to the conscious, right? Or secrets being revealed that a light is going to be shed on something that you didn't know before. Now, this can be for you yourself, because this is a personal growth area energy for all of us at the moment. You know, it's either grow personally or stay stagnant in, asleep. We want to wake up, right? We're all slowly waking up to the reality of our existence, and so that we can move forward enlightened, to really engage and enjoy this journey we call life. So it's interesting. There are three people here, and they're looking up at this moon, and it looks like it's an eclipse. So in some way, something is changing in a big way. Whether this is personal, but definitely I would say keep your side of the street clean. Do everything for the higher good of you and for everyone. You don't want to accumulate any more karmic debt right now. So you want to really kind of think of every decision with a karmic ripple the ripple effect. Think about that. Is this decision going to affect anyone negatively? Is it going to affect me negatively in the long run? We really need to look at the decisions that we make and make them very consciously. It's making conscious decisions. So clarifying that is the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands is a celebration. So I feel that there's kind of a, I want to say, it's not really a completion. Look, we're coming up to the full moon, right? So it's about completions. It's about a stage, a phase that has come to a completion, and it's worth celebrating because the Four of Wands is a celebratory card, and it's a foundation from which to jump, to embark, to go forward. And this is a time where you want to celebrate with your loved ones. You want to tell your best friend. You want to enjoy this moment of triumph, if you will. And even if this is pointing to personal growth, it feels good when you have come to a realization for something, an epiphany perhaps, a chance to advance spiritually, within this physical body. Now, Sagittarius, the next card up, is the Five of Swords, and this has come up for quite a few people. And this is an argument that you can't win. This is like arguing, it's akin to arguing about politics or religion, hot button topics. That one needs, look, we can never, you can't convince one party to switch to another one, just like you can't. They're deep-rooted feelings, and they come from a foundation of their life and experience. So it's no point in trying to convince someone to think the way you think. You can have a healthy debate, but this is not a healthy debate. This can be like a social media war where people just insult each other and call each other idiots. And, people have that, hubris and bravado online that they wouldn't have in person a lot of the time. So, look, this can be an argument with a lover where you insult them to win. It's just, look, you do anything to win, and usually it can be talking to someone condescendingly or dogmatically, or telling. This is just not a nice way to win. So when this card comes in, it's saying, understand your limitations. Listen, back off and allow them to be wrong. I mean, that's what I would say. Look, allow them to be wrong. You don't have to prove that you're right and they're wrong. Just allow it to happen. Just don't engage. It's important to be really, to be wise, to see that understand that this is not winnable. It's this kind of thing. It's like you get a dog with a bone, and you feel that you're losing face if you back down, and so you win at any cost, like insulting them. So, but you don't. Actually, you win by backing off because outwardly you look like the smarter person. Okay, you're right. Go ahead. Whatever you say, or just don't engage, because it's interesting because sometimes, you're in this state and you see something online, and before you know it, you've commented on a controversial post and then all hell breaks loose. So you don't want to do that either. And look, that's interesting because clarifying is the Tower. So you could be removed from social media if you comment like that. It's vitriol. This is vitriol, really. This is winning through vitriolic responses or reactions. So look, the Tower is something's going. Something's removed. It's a situation that is removed. The Tower burns down, and guess what? You've got to rebuild, or you've got to come back at this. This is not a nice feeling. This can be losing a job. Hey, you could have an argument at work that could cause you to lose your job. So you have to be very careful. And even sometimes jobs monitor social media, and if you're reacting in an inappropriate way online, they can, fire you for that. It depends on your contract or where you're at. So this is really, this is about looking at these situations, being very careful about how you react. And listen, if you've lost a job over inappropriate behavior or language or a reaction, then, you're going to survive it. But resist the urge to do this. And perhaps you're losing a job and you react like that. When you lose your job, don't do that. Don't burn your bridges. Don't burn it down. It's already falling down. Don't burn it to the ground. When the Tower comes in, this is a situational change. It's like Uranus, right? It comes in, the lightning strikes, it's a sudden happening. You don't see it. It's out of left field. You lose your job, you lose an apartment, you lose something. Something is gone. Your car's stolen, you have to walk to work, whatever it is. It's a situation. I remember this woman years and years ago. I think she was on Oprah, and she was talking. She'd lost all this weight, tons of weight. And it all started when her car broke down. And she had to walk her kids to school, and then she had to walk to work, and she was doing all this walking. She started eating less, and she ended up losing loads of weight out of that annoyance of her car breaking down. Something incredible and wonderful came out of it. So that's what the Tower's like, right? It doesn't feel great. It didn't feel great for her when she had to walk the first day, right? She had to keep walking, rain, snow, hail. It wasn't a great feeling, but what came out of that was incredible. And that is the Tower. So you've got to remember, something is being removed. It's like the ground shaking because something needs to change. Right? She needed to change. She needed to exercise. She needed to stop eating badly. She needed to lose that weight. Right? So that's how you have to look. That's a really good example of the Tower. That's what comes out of the Tower. Now, the next card out is the Nine of Swords, which is understandable when the Tower comes in. It's like the worst case scenario. Oh my God, I'm homeless. I'll never get another place. I've lost my job. I'm going to starve. I'm going to be homeless. Whatever this is, it's worry and it's waste of energy. Right? So when you're in the Nine of Swords, you lose sleep, and it's just constantly negative, worst case scenario, going down the rabbit hole all the way down. So it's coming in, it's like, don't focus on what could happen. It's a fantasy. You don't know what's going to happen. Don't focus on negativity. This is about, don't go down the rabbit hole. Focus on the actions you can take to change your situation. That is focusing on the solution. This is being mired in the problem. But if you say, okay, what can I do that's going to change this? What can I do? Then you're focusing on a solution and a way you can take action to change your situation. That's okay. But this is the antithesis of that. This is just, oh no, what am I going to do? This is going to happen. This is going to happen. I'll never, blah, 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 blah. I taught myself years ago when I was in this energy, and I was listening to myself, and then all of a sudden I kind of separated myself because I'd been meditating. So I understood that I could separate myself from my thought process. And when, at times, not always, right? I get carried away with it sometimes. But when I got that realization that I observed my thought pattern, and I was like, what is going on? And I just went, wow, 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 wow. So every time I went into this, I just heard, wow, 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 wow. Hey, whatever works, right? It was a tool. And look, so this, you've clarifying this worst case scenario, you've got the Page of Cups. This is intuition. This is psychic ability. This is love. This is like, you know, a message of love. What's love got to do? So listen, you're ready to move on to the next phase of your life. This is gone. Now, what are you going to do? What actions are you going to take? What loving actions for you are you going to take? Love yourself. Don't berate yourself because this happened. You are not the situation. You are not, you know, your circumstances are such, but you are not defined by those circumstances. So don't define yourself by those. Define yourself about the actions that you're going to take and the changes you are personally going to make to empower yourself. Sagittarius, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned for the astrology report, which is coming up next. I love you all, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello, I'm really glad you stayed to listen to the astrology report and to see what's happening in the celestial sky this week, and what a celestial sky we have. Now, on Monday, February the 3rd, Mercury moves into Pisces. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication, intellect, logic, details, right? Facts. And Pisces is quite the opposite to that. Pisces is like creative and dreamy and romantic and poetic. So Mercury in Pisces is thought to be in detriment, and that means at its weakest power. But what Mercury in Pisces does is it gives insight. So the conversations are more pleasant, and it gives insight into somebody's mood, and you can avoid confrontation, and you can have pleasantries, pleasant conversations, sweet, romantic, almost poetic in nature. So it's a wonderful way of communicating and of seeing into somebody's mood and being able to direct a conversation or ideas around that. And it's kind of visionary too, because you can have brilliant ideas on these daydreams. You know, the thing is it's really, it is not detail oriented. So when Mercury is in Pisces, for me, I can go off on tangents, and I put little alarms on my phone to bring me back into the moment, particularly when I need to take care of things, because you can kind of get lost on social media, you know, lose track of time. It's that kind of energy. Now we move on to Friday, February the 7th, and Venus moves into Aries. Now Venus has been in Pisces, where it's exalted, where it can really, it's the strongest, it can express itself. She can express herself fully, Venus can, right? And think of her in Pisces in this long, flowing chiffon, willowy, romantic gown, right? Blowing in the wind. And then she moves into Aries, and suddenly she's in a rubber red dress and garter belt and stockings and perhaps a whip in her hand. You know, high heels. She's very, you know, aggressive, assertive. She goes after what she wants and she gets it. Venus in Aries is the initiator. So, you know, some of her a male energy comes out and she goes after what she wants. So it's very kind of, you know, think of Mars. It's very kind of sexual, sensual energy. And then on Sunday, February the 8th or 9th, right, depending on where you are, you're going to see this beautiful full moon on the 8th, and it is going to peak at 2:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be in the morning, in Europe, and it's going to be earlier, late in the evening in California, on the Pacific Standard Time. So this is a full moon in Leo. Now, full moons are when the moon and the sun are opposite each other, right? So this is, think of this is about courage. It's about being heart-centered. It's interesting, right? Because the sun is in Aquarius and the moon is in Leo. And at the same time as this beautiful full moon at 20 degrees Leo, it's also right next to a fixed star, which is very kind of Mars-like, and it is trining, the moon is trining Mars. So this brings passion, vigor, energy, sensuality, chemistry. It is, Leo is in the house of romance, fun, excitement, and children and family too. So that you get all this energy and this vigor into these relationships, but it's also about helping others, this moon. Now, I will just say that full moons are always kind of a culmination and a releasing, right? They're whatever you've kind of started, good or bad, in the new moon, then it comes to fruition in the full moon. So sometimes where this full moon lands in your chart depends on which area of life it affects. And that brings me to my Facebook group, guys. It's a private Facebook group. And every 2 weeks, we look at the new moon or the full moon, respectively, and we see where it lands in our charts, right? So I do a live feed in that private Facebook group. The link will be below. Check that out. Now, so this full moon is about helping others, right? It's being heart-centered. It's putting love into the world, and it's about helping others. It's right opposite Aquarius, the humanitarian sign, right? The sun. And the sun is illuminating the moon. That's why it's so full. So we are going to, this full moon is definitely about how can we help? What can we do for society? Where can I use my courage? How can I use my courage? How can I improve or help or contribute to society? Right? Because this is all inclusive and it's heart-centered. It's love, putting love out there into the world. And that's what my Facebook group is about. We are a group of like-minded people, and it's loving, it's supportive, it's very positive, it's lovely. So ask to join. There's a couple of questions you have to ask. I do actually require that you have a profile photograph. I no longer accept people without profile photographs. And it's got to be a real account. I check out the profile, and if it doesn't look real, I won't accept. So, we're about authenticity, right? And that's what this full moon is about, authenticity. It's about being, it's about coming into oneness with everyone. So, when we do that live feed, we'll be looking at what we need to let go. Do we need to let go of friendships? Do we need to let go of relationships? Do we need to let go of jobs, of the apartments, of the areas that we live? What do we need as opposed to what do we want? And this is a question we need to ask ourselves throughout 2020, going forward. We need, Saturn is playing a huge role along with Pluto and Capricorn. We still have all these planets in Capricorn, and it is about frugality, right? It's about no waste. It's about seeing, using what we need and not consuming so much. Consumerism is down. We need to grow personally. We want to expand our awareness and our consciousness into the society at large. We want to focus on our similarities as opposed to our differences. And this is a beautiful full moon in which to connect with people and how we can help others. So, guys, I really appreciate all the likes, shares, comments, and subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I love all the personal, all the comments, both personal and public, are just so inspiring and touching to me. And I need that encouragement just as much as the next person. So I thank you all for that. And another way to help me is through Patreon. This is another way to support my channel and help me grow, help me put out more creative content. You know, I think you can support me as little as $1 a month. It's not a lot for you, but it's huge for me. Imagine if everyone gave me $1. It would be amazing. You know, my equipment is slowly becoming archaic. I could really use some help to replace that. But listen, no pressure. I post things on Patreon that I don't post anywhere else, so it might be worth checking out. Thank you above all. Thank you all for joining me and helping me grow. Mwah. I love you all, and I'll see you next week.